Parkersburg, West Virginia, 1980. Farmers in the region start noticing their cows are acting strange. Their eyes are bulging, their organs are turning green. But then the people start getting sick too. Babies are being born with all sorts of deformities. Farmers start dropping dead from rare diseases. The beloved creek that had wound through Parkersburg for generations began to exhale a strange shimmering foam like something unholy had taken root beneath it. For over 40 years, the sickness spread. More disease, more birth defects, more lives quietly ruined. And when they finally uncovered what the cause of it all was, it wasn't a space virus. It wasn't some Cold War weapon. It was a frying pan. Well, not the frying pan per se, but chemicals that the frying pan was made with. Unbeknownst to the public, the Washington Works plant run by the DuPont company had been cooking this toxic stew and pouring it straight into the water supply like it's soup season for every season. So why do these companies knowingly release dangerous chemicals into the environment? Like, why keep going when as far back as the 1960s, their very own internal scientific studies were showing that these chemicals were sus? This didn't happen in a vacuum. It happened inside a moral system, a system that told us self-interest was virtue, that compassion was weakness, that the greatest good is to owe nothing to anybody else, and no one preached this louder and more seductively than libertarian female space Jesus Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand's philosophy, Objectivism, champions rational self-interest, total laissez-faire capitalism, and the belief that needing help automatically should nerf you to background character status, especially if you're a character in her ideological fan fiction Atlas Shrugged. In Ayn Rand's expanded fantasy multiverse, compassion isn't a virtue, it's moral malware. For Ayn Rand, morality is about efficiency, productivity, and body slamming anyone who stands in your way. To her, altruism, this core human instinct to care for the vulnerable that has been the cornerstone of every spiritual tradition since the beginning of time. It's just a scam by the losers trying to guilt trip the elite 1% into sharing the basic resources of life that they're hoarding. Imagine you're sitting in the first world sipping lithium-mined lattes and watching the global third world starve from your supply chain. Ayn Rand says you owe them nothing. Not your guilt, not your money, not even an afterthought. So if you see a beggar starving on the street, he has no right to your money. His suffering isn't your problem. What's the point of pausing for someone who produces nothing? Let him vanish. He should just die and decrease the surplus population. Well, I mean, with one caveat, that is, you should help him only if he offers you value. Don't feed the poor unless they've got a pitch deck and you're a Shark Tank judge with a libertarian god complex. And if you see a child alone and abandoned, eating an expired box of Mr. Beast's Lunchables, don't build an orphanage. Well, unless you can turn it into a startup that leverages child labor for cheap influencer merch that arrives at your door 3 months late. And above all, you certainly don't owe society something as sentimental as protection from the industrial toxins you're pumping into the air, food, and groundwater. Pity's weakness. Weakness doesn't scale. In this framework, need doesn't create obligation, output does. And if the poor or the forgotten masses need help, well, they better learn to generate objective monetary value first. Therefore, to Ayn Rand, collective responsibility is just a slippery slope straight to state tyranny. Taxes, regulations, public oversight, or any kind of state coercion or social safety net to help those that might slip through the cracks. Just chains on individual freedom. Heck, to her, even mandating brakes on roller coasters is an act of totalitarian oppression. So therefore, when corporations poison water supplies knowingly and without remorse, they're not betraying Rand's philosophy, they're following it. This isn't corruption. This is textbook objectivist ethics in action. If it makes a profit, well, then it's moral. If people suffer, well, that's just inefficiency. The people who dump the toxin, probably Ayn Rand super fans. Sigma Chads powered by backrooms Wi-Fi, sitting in their boardrooms, calculating how many jobs to cut before lunch. They were sleeping just fine when they poisoned the world. Oh, what was that last part you just said? The entire world? Oh, I'm sorry you had to find out like this. You know, your mother and I were waiting to tell you till you were older. Okay, so the contamination isn't just in Parkersburg, West Virginia. It's in the soil, it's in the rain, it's in your dog, it's in your hamster. And yes, dear viewer, it's in you, and it's never going anywhere. It's in you forever. Forever chemicals have just entered the chat. Okay, so imagine a toxin so potent that when you dilute a single drop in not one, not two, but 5 Olympic-sized swimming pools, even that is not considered a safe dose. Polyfluoroalkyl. Okay, they're just called PFAs for short, because it's easier to say. PFAs. Or we'll just call them PFAs. Yes, they've been found in the blood of virtually every human on the planet. Congratulations. You too are a part of the experiment. It was basically used to create Teflon, you know those non-stick egg frying pans? Until scientists discovered that it was bioaccumulating in women's ovaries and males' testes. Hey, great, look, your eggs don't stick to the pan, but your reproductive organs just got engaged to a Ohio molecule built in the Demon Labs, a skibbity toilet Hogwarts. So what would Ayn Rand say about all this? You know, to be honest with myself, maybe I'm being a little bit unfair here. Maybe I've misrepresented her strawman objectivism. So let me atone for my sins by flipping the script, and I'll argue with myself here and steel man her case. So maybe I've confused producers with looters, those who create value with those who exploit it. Instead, I've described the sludge of moral compromise that she warned us about, the kind practiced by second-handers in boardrooms chasing quarterly earnings instead of first principles. I'm not attacking Rand's objectivism. No, I'm just staring into the middle ground, that gray zone where the evil of the compromise rots everything between principle and profit. Maybe the executives at DuPont weren't Rand's Promethean prime movers at all, and poisoning the world with PFAS isn't a capitalist virtue, it's a moral failure, and that's not real capitalism. But we've all heard that one before, right? It's the same line that the ideologue Marxists use to try to justify the atrocities of socialism. And they always say, oh, that's not real communism, before they pull out a pie chart shaped like Siberia. Here's the problem. I don't live in her utopian fan fiction. I don't live in Galt's Gulch, where everyone's LARPing as billionaires and people at the bottom are treated like a glitch. I live where the pipes corrode, the wages go down, the rent goes up, and forever chemicals are always around to keep me company. Because if your system only works in theory, but poisons the world in practice, then it's not a solution. It's a theory shielded by denial.